The Demon Prince has returned. No small talk, just straight to the point. I'm Nim, and here's the recap of Boruto Chapter 25 spoilers. So yeah, the scene begins with Konohamaru already standing in front of Moegi, who had been sealed inside that tree for quite a long time. Now, he's holding Matsuri's Togedama and is ready to free her. And the moment the Togedama is placed onto the tree, it immediately seems to be absorbed into it, and smoke, or something like it, emerges from the tree along with Moegi's body being released. A warm hug with Moegi's consciousness automatically returning. Konohamaru finally managed to save her. And yeah, in that touching moment, Boruto was watching them from above, feeling genuinely happy for them. Meanwhile, Gaara and Shinki had already been freed. Gaara survived, but it looked like his condition was quite severe, especially because of his injuries. The effects of Shinki's previous sealing jutsu left Gaara still unconscious. Even so, it wouldn't be long before he woke up. And just as Kankuro was exchanging information with Shikamaru, Sai suddenly appeared and informed Shikamaru that Konoha's elders were calling for him. But before that, the scene returns to Moegi, who is currently recovering in the hospital along with the others. And at the same time, Sumire, who is in the room with the others, Sarada has regained consciousness, and the expression that might be quite awkward cannot be lied to when Sumire and Sarada look at each other. And it seems Sarada's arrival was indeed to find Sumire, because a few chapters earlier they were at odds because of her feelings for Boruto. Sarada invited Sumire to talk to each other somewhere. A place where Sumire's jealousy started because she saw Sarada hugging Boruto in front of her eyes. So the conversation opened with small talk first, especially about a tough mission in the Land of Wind. But before Sumire could say anything, Sarada suddenly cut her off and asked if it was okay for her to call her by her name instead of class rep. And of course, since it was Sumire's own request, she agreed to it. However, because Ida had been the third person involved from the very beginning of the conflict between Sumire and Sarada, she seemed to be using her Senrigan to eavesdrop on what the two of them were talking about. But at this point, Sarada and Sumire seemed to reflect on themselves, realizing that what they had done toward each other wasn't something that could be justified. In other words, Sarada apologized for being insensitive to Sumire's feelings, while Sumire admitted that she couldn't control herself from being rude. The point of the matter is Sarada's own feelings. Actually, from the beginning, Sarada didn't really care about her feelings for Boruto, even when Sumire asked her directly. But Sarada admits as time goes by, Sarada can't lie if she starts to think more and more about Boruto. But Sarada's feelings were more subjective. She thought about Boruto because as a teammate, Boruto was always dealing with so many problems. And of course, as a teammate, Sarada couldn't just be ignorant and not think about him or even worry about him. And along with a feeling of worry as a teammate, Sarada was getting less and less understanding of her own feelings. But certainly, now Sarada had admitted it in front of Sumire, that Sarada felt that feelings for Boruto were like something more. And to another point, Sarada's feelings led to and mixed with her dreams of becoming a Hokage. In other words, Sarada felt that she was a bad person and seemed to wonder if she deserved to aspire to be a Hokage. Especially about Yodo's statement that Sarada had misunderstood and Sarada had unknowingly deceived herself. But since the incident of Yodo's death, now Sarada will become a person who will not do that kind of thing again. And that means Sarada openly declares her feelings to Boruto in front of Sumire, that Sarada also likes him. Even though this was a shocking statement, but at least it was only Ada. Because even though Sumire heard it directly from Sarada, her expression seemed like something normal and understood. Because according to Sarada, Boruto is the reason to become stronger and makes Sarada even more confident if she can still become Hokage. And yeah, Sumire's expression turned out to be based on what she had been thinking for a long time, meaning Sumire already understood it and knew that it was her true feelings for Boruto for a long time. But here's the surprise. Sumire seems to be wide open to accepting the fact that Sarada has directly expressed her feelings. And that means Sumire and Sarada mutually accept and understand that they both have the same feelings for Boruto and will not hold back whatever they want to express to Boruto himself. But for some reason, Ida, who had been eavesdropping on their conversation from the start, didn't seem to accept that the two of them were confiding so enthusiastically behind her back. But what makes me curious is that Ida asks the censors team to connect this instantly, And the scene between Sarada and Sumire closes with a happy ending where the two of them hold hands and walk together after each of them declares their love for one handsome man, the young lord, Boruto Otsutsuki. Dame. So yeah, the scene moves to Nanadaime Uzumaki Naruto's house, where we can see Himawari in her latest outfit meditating. Like being connected in one dimension of the soul, Kurama trains Hima not from the physical directly, but from within her soul. The training starts with a fighting technique where Kurama advises Hima to use her leg strength because it's all chakra. In other words, if Hima can control all her chakra, then she can surpass ordinary ninjas. But the plot twist, when Hima states to Kurama that she is also a ninja, but Kurama just says that Hima doesn't understand at all. But certainly Kurama stated that even though Hima was human, she was more like someone close to Kurama or even Jura itself. And in short, Kurama wanted Hima to become the embodiment of chakra itself. And yeah, that's the key to this training. But unfortunately, before the training could continue, Kurama stopped the training session. But unbeknownst to Hima, it was Boruto from a rooftop sitting and watching Hima from afar. And if before Hima was practicing and talking to Kurama through the soul, now it was Boruto who was doing the same thing. But not with Kurama, but the demon prince, Otsutsuki Momoshiki. A dimension that might be very familiar where Momoshiki was defeated by Boruto. But from the conversation between the two, we get a confirmation from Momoshiki. First, it is clear that reincarnation is impossible, and that means Momoshiki can no longer control Boruto's mind anymore. And not only that, Momoshiki's soul has no place. In other words, one way is to vanish. With Boruto's death, this breaks this curse. But to be sure, Boruto has another alternative. He asks Momoshiki to give him his powers. Yeah, even though it's not free, Boruto offers Momoshiki if he can defeat Jura, then Boruto will give him his body. But before we know what Momoshiki's response is, the scene ends here. So yeah, maybe this is a recap of the short spoilers for Boruto chapter 25, and for the official full version, see you on the 20th. Thanks for watching, like and subs, I'm Nim. See you in the next video. Bye-bye, Data Bio.